It's very hot today, and it's 30 plus degrees Celsius. And today we have a 2009 Pontiac Vibe with a 2.4 liter engine. This Vibe is equipped with the all-wheel drive system, and the customer has requested to do the AC service because they think it's low on refrigerant. So they just need an AC service to bring it up to full charge. Welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel. And so now we are just going to be hooking up the manifold set here, and we are going to recover the refrigerant. Now we are just going to remove the caps for the high and low side lines. And we are going to hook up the manifold set. So now we're going to hook up the low side port. Make sure it's in properly. We're just going to turn the knob until we get a pressure reading. You don't want to crank the knob over too much, otherwise you could damage the aerator valve. And now we're going to do the same for the high side port. Turn this up. So now we are just going to observe the readings here, the static pressures with the vehicle off. The customer does not want a diagnostic done. They just want to do a service on this. So I'm just having a look at the pressures here. This is roughly around 92 or 94 psi for the low side, and the high side roughly at about 120. Usually they should stabilize equally after half an hour or so. And typically if the pressures are equalized, it would signify that the thermal expansion valve is okay. So right now all of the valves are closed at the moment. I hooked up the yellow supply line here going to the recovery machine on the low side, and then it goes through the high side line into the recovery tank. I have a scale here in which we are going to measure how much refrigerant comes out of it. So if you look underneath the hood here for the specifications of how much refrigerant should be in here, you can see maximum 0.47 of a kilogram, 1.04 pounds of R-134A refrigerant. So now I have the scale on. It's set to kilograms. So we are just going to open everything up here. We're going to open the high side and turn the machine on, set it to recover, and open this. We're just going to open the high side all the way now to recover all of the refrigerant. All the way open. You can see on the scale 0.22 kilograms recovered and counting. You can see the pressures are slowly dropping now. So we are gonna wait until the pressures are at 0 and go from there. So once it's at 0, the low side will start to go to negative vacuum. So you want to shut it off now. And you want to close the high side line now. So I recovered approximately 0.41 kilograms so far. So I'm going to close this up. I'm going to put this on purge now to purge the lines out. So we recovered a total of 0.42 kilograms. So we're going to close this up. So we recovered a total of 0.42 kilograms, and the maximum specifications that this air conditioning system takes is 0.47. So it was only a tiny bit low, and this customer is complaining that the AC system is underperforming in very hot weather. So in this case, it's only 0.05 of a kilogram low. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a big difference, probably a tiny amount. So we'll see on what happens. So now we are going to put a vacuum on this for approximately 1 hour so we can get all of the air and the moisture out of the system. So I'm using a vacuum pump here. So we are just going to turn it on. We hooked up the supply line over here. So we are just going to turn on the vacuum pump and then open both of the valves. So we're going to open the valves up all the way. And as you open it up, you'll see that the vacuum will go into to a negative vacuum. So usually it'll reach approximately 29 to 30 inches of mercury of vacuum. So you can see the vacuum is dropping now. So as you can see here, it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit and climbing. Extremely hot today. I'm sweating buckets. Still climbing. 33.3 Celsius. 92.4. So now it's been about an hour, and you can see that the vacuum is around 29 or 30 inches of mercury. So now we are going to close the valves on both sides, the low and the high. So we go clockwise here to close it. And then we are going to turn off the vacuum pump here. We are going to turn off the vacuum pump, and we are going to hold vacuum for maybe 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure there's no leaks, like any substantial leaks. So now we are going to hold vacuum for maybe 10 to 15 minutes just to verify that there's no substantial leaks in the system. This is not a diagnostic. This is just to confirm that there's no like an obvious or very large leak in the system. Because if there's a leak in the system, you'll see the vacuum, it will slowly increase to positive numbers. So then there would mean that there's a leak in the system and you would need to fix it. So we are going to hold vacuum for approximately maybe 10 to 15 minutes just to make sure everything is okay. And then we are going to put the refrigerant in the system. So now it's been roughly 15 minutes. It's still holding vacuum. So we are ready to put refrigerant in the system. Just going to turn the scale on here. Everything is still closed up. So we are going to open the low side line here. And then we need to purge the air that's in the supply line. So we just need to open it a tiny bit. So we just need to open the supply line a bit. I opened it a bit too much, but that's okay. So now we are going to start the vehicle. To put the AC on full blast. So now the scale is reset to 0. So now we are going to open the valve for the low side only, all the way. And we are going to watch the refrigerant. The capacity is 0.47 of a kilogram. So you can see the refrigerant is going in. You're going to see the high side increasing slowly, and the low side should decrease. So the capacity here is 0.47 of a kilogram. So now I'm using my CPS digital thermometer. So it's 98 Fahrenheit at the moment inside the vehicle. It should drop soon. Once there's enough refrigerant in the system, the AC compressor should kick in soon. I believe the AC compressor has kicked on, so we're getting 91 Fahrenheit and dropping. It might be hard to see that on camera because of the glare. 88, 87. It's making it harder for the air conditioning system to cool the air down. So now we're at 0.28 of a kilogram. And we need to get to 0.47 kilograms and we will stop. I could start to feel that the temperature is dropping now. We're at 73 Fahrenheit. Ideally, we probably want between 40 and 45 Fahrenheit. We're at 0.42, which was the same amount we took out. So we need to get to 0.47. We're almost there now. Zero 0.46. 0.47 now, and now we're gonna close it. Close the low side all the way. Close this on the tank. So we're at 0.47. That's exactly on how much we need. So right now we're at 65 Fahrenheit, not exactly on where we want at the moment, but we already put in the correct refrigerant. I've already discussed to the customer about the aftermarket AC compressor that he put in there probably a couple years or so ago. He was questioning the AC compressor, whether if it's any good or if it needs replacement. So now we are just going to shut the vehicle off. Now we're just going to disconnect the service hoses from here. We are just going to disconnect the supply line here. There will be a little bit of refrigerant in here, residual refrigerant. So I'm using some of the PAG 46 oil here, which is what this system takes, and there's dye in it too. So we are just going to inject 1 ounce of the PAG oil into the system. So this syringe takes half an ounce. So we are going to add half an ounce in here. So I've added half an ounce of PAG oil. So we are going to insert the syringe here. You want to get the air bubbles out because you don't want to introduce air into the system. So we are going to inject half an ounce into the low side port here. Tighten this down. And take this out now. We're just make sure that when you inject the oil in, to not remove the syringe, because you don't want to introduce air into the system. So we are going to take the plunger out and add another half an ounce. Now, at the time when I used to work at the GM dealership, the guys over there, they used half an ounce for the AC service. independent repair shop that I used to work at also in previous years. They used to use 1 ounce. So there isn't really a right or wrong answer. If you want to use half an ounce or 1 ounce, that's fine, unless you replace something like the AC compressor. Then you don't need to add additional oil into the system. If you put too much oil into the system, it's going to reduce the cooling capability of the AC system. So now we're going to insert the plunger in. Push down into the plunger. And then that's it. You can replace the AC caps now. Just do a quick wipe on the line. Reinstall the caps, one for the high side and one for the low side. So now we are going to start the vehicle now to get the oil to circulate in the system. And we'll see and check our interior temperature to make sure if it's working properly or not. So it's gonna take some time, roughly maybe 5 to 10 minutes to verify the temperature. So once the temperature has cooled down a bit, I placed it on recirculate to get the inside air to recirculate and to cool down further for maximum AC. So hopefully I can get the temperature down, because the temperature doesn't look too good at the moment. It's only at 66.4 Fahrenheit. Should be around maybe 45 or something. So now I'm all done the AC service, and it's not getting any colder than like 62 Fahrenheit. I went for a road test. It's still not as cold as what it's supposed to be. And now the customer, they didn't want any diagnostic work done, so I just did on what the customer requested for me to do. So it's just starting to cool a bit more now at 59 Fahrenheit, but that's not cold enough yet. So we'll see in what happens in the next few days or so, and I will get back to the customer and see on what they say. So now it's down to 57.8 Fahrenheit. So I'm cooling off in here for the time being, and that's going to be it. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day and take care.